Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? How you boys doing? Or boys and girls doing? It's your boy Devil, so motivational. And today, let me pull this up. See, I don't see the OBS. Today we will be having a market review. I already did my trade recap in the morning, and honestly, I'm very excited to come and be on live with y'all. I already did my trade recap in the morning, so please, if you're curious about my trade in the morning, please go watch that one. Please go watch that trade recap. It's an actual video, not a live. And also, I had a second trade in the day, so I will be telling y'all about that. This one, I will be telling you about that trade in this live. So I'll be going over that trade. I'll be going over why we had this $50 move. Jesus Christ, man, that is about probably 6, 7, 8 times your money, man. And so we're gonna go over my trade. We're gonna go over my second trade in the day. We're gonna go over why we had this pump. We're gonna go over some of the news, some good news that we have actually, some more good news that we have, and then we'll be going over the news that we have, the economic news we have going on tomorrow morning before the market opens that can give us a huge reaction. Probably the most important news of it all, right? And so, y'all know the deal. Let me pull this up, make sure everything's running right for you guys. Okay. And how y'all beautiful people doing? I hope everybody's doing amazing. I hope everybody made some money today, whether it was in the markets or you went to a job or whatever. I just hope y'all made money today, okay? I hope y'all got 1% better today, and I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. Excuse me. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Stay with me, my beautiful people. I'm trying to set this up real quick. I throw some one, baby, do that dance on. And please, my beautiful people, if y'all didn't watch my trade recap, you have to go watch that video. I had some good information in there. As you know, I always have some good information for you boys, right? And so I had some information. There we go. So I had some information for y'all in that video. Please go watch. It wasn't a live stream. I knocked it out during the morning. I had some extra time, and so Jesus Christ, and I had a lot on my mind from that trade, a lot on my chest to get off, and so I had to make that video right then and there, so everything was fresh. You know what I'm saying? So later on, I didn't have to come and try to remember stuff, but everything was fresh, and so I just wanted to turn on the camera and then just tell you guys my trade and everything. But we had a second trade of the day, okay? So we're gonna go over that, but first, let's go over why we had this move today, okay? And so to start the day, what did we see? To start the day, it gapped down a little bit, but it basically just continued off where it did yesterday, right? Excuse me. Basically continued off where it left off yesterday, ranged, broke up, kind of creating an uptrend. Like you could have profited off this move, but then ultimately just ranged all day, literally all day, till what, 12 o'clock. Literally this was 12 o'clock, and then we just had this huge jump up, and then a huge jump up, and then a huge jump up, and this is all about like 12:30, like 12 to like 12:30. You had about a $50 jump, and then from about 12:30 to the end of the day, it was just moving, and we are going higher and higher. And excuse me, I honestly should have had this pulled up already. I should have had this pulled up already. His name is showing it. Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Sorry, beautiful people. Okay, so why did we have this huge $50 move? Because as you know, that does not happen much. And in what, the past 3 days, we've had whew, excuse me, my good people. I feel like I was finna sneeze. Oh my goodness. So as you know, we don't get no $50 moves. You just do not get that, especially in an ETF like SPY or QQQ. You do not get those. And so, why did we get that? We had some good news. And actually, in my video, and I think I said this in my other live stream, I was telling y'all, I was like, the market is so far down. And I was like, you seen that huge pump that we had that last time, right? You see this huge, what was this? This was about like a $40 jump, right? Yeah, $40 jump. So we know we don't get those moves, and we literally got 2 of those moves in the past 3 days. We know this one was all fake news, that's why it dumped straight back down. And then this one is actual real news from Donald Trump. And I had something else to say, and I just straight up lost it. Well, we'll go over. So why did we have this news? Well, we can come over here and let's read what Donald Trump said. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately. So that means China, because they retaliated on tariffs, which went in effect today, which I told you yesterday was going to happen. They went in effect at 12 o'clock p.m., so basically last night. And so Trump put 125% tariffs on them today. Literally, when he wrote this tweet, he said effective immediately. And then he said, at some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, which I'm not sure what that is, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States. I have authorized, see, this is where the pump came. I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And he signed it, Donald Trump, Truth Social. So that's exactly why we had the pump. That is literally exactly why. So as I said, there we go, that's what I was going to say. So as I said in my actual video this morning, I literally said it before that pump. In the video, I literally said it before that pump, and then I think I said it yesterday in my trade recap that the market was looking for any good news to pump, any type of good news. And we knew that. Why? Because look at this, we're already so far down. We're already in like basically bear territory. The NASDAQ was already down about 20%. I think the S&P was about 17%, and then we got this fake news. And as you can see, because they thought, so this is where I think the White House kind of has some type of inside information, because they basically released the same exact statement on the 7th, right? They even said that there was a 90-day pause. Like, they said literally basically what Donald Trump said. They didn't go into full detail, but the fake news was there's a 90-day pause on tariffs, and we had this huge pump before Trump saying no, that was false, right? And it dumped right back. And then a couple days later, Trump comes out and says we have a 90-day pause on tariffs, and we got this huge pump. That is literally exactly why. And so that's what I was saying. We're so far down in the bear market. We're just so far down already. The market was looking for any good news to buy it up, because we're so low. This is buying territory. If you're not buying in red, if you're not buying on discount, why are you gonna buy when the market's green? Okay, that's from an investor. That's investor standpoint. That's what these billionaires and millionaires do. Whenever the market is dumping like this, they're buying, they're buying, they're buying, they're buying. Why? Because it's discount, right? It's on sale. The market is on sale. Basically, any stock. I'm gonna come back to Tesla because I was talking about Tesla's live streams ago. Tesla's high is about 480, 490, and it's down to around 250, 260. So that is about a 50% discount. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to the store, you look for things on discount, right? That's what these stocks are. They're on discount. So you buy them low because whenever they start to go high, that's how you get money, right? You don't want to buy things. You don't want to buy Tesla at $400 or at $480, right? Because it's like, how much room does it have to move? Yeah, we feel Tesla or whatever company you invest in has potential, but ultimately you want to buy it at that lower level so you can get more of the percentage gain, right? So that's the same thing. That's what these big millionaires and big billionaires and big businesses do. They take the advantage of the opportunity. Any type of good news, they're gonna buy it up, okay? Because we're in a dip, and that's what I was telling you, boys. I told y'all this. I said, I was literally saying this. Let me come out into the day. I literally, please put a thumbs up in the chat if you remember whenever I said this. I said if we get any good news from Trump, if he says we worked out the tariffs, or if he said I think this was literally my exact statement. If Trump says he works out the tariffs, or if he says there's not going to be no tariffs on anybody, and that he's dropping all tariffs, we're literally going to see moves like this. Oh, not that deep of a pullback. Jesus Christ, that's a deep pullback right there. But we are literally going to see moves like this, like big moves, because it's going to start moving. It's obviously not going to move that fast in 3 swings, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to get these $30 price actions. You're not going to get $30 price actions every day, but you're going to start getting these $10 moves, these $20 price actions, these $15 price actions. You know what I'm saying? Because we're already so far down, and they're going to start buying it up on any good news, okay? And so we're not totally out of the woods yet, right? Because it's just a pause on the tariffs, right? It's a pause on the tariffs. The tariffs aren't done. He's just saying we're pausing it, and we're lowering our reciprocal tariffs already. Okay, he said we're 90-day pause, so they're not done, and he's just lowering them down to 10% on all the countries, right? And so, but what did he do to China? He put 125% tariffs on China. So that's still not good news, right? Because we're both powerhouses. China and U.S. are like the strongest nations, right? They're both the powerhouses, and we use China for a lot of things. So that's ultimately you're still not out the woods, right? Because even though the other countries, we might have worked out tariffs and whatever, China is a very big deal, right? But ultimately, I think we're trying to move out of using China so much, and that's just off the things I've read and watched and stuff, that we're trying to move away from needing China so much, because as you know, everything you look at, it says made in China. Pretty much all our iPhones, they were made in China, right? So pretty much a lot of our stuff is made in China. So I think we're really just trying to stop depending on them so much. We're trying to move things back to America. But ultimately, Trump is saying, first let me go into what he said before he came out with this good news. He literally said this. Where is it at, my good people? Oh, right here. Trump literally said on Truth Social, which is his platform, he told us to be cool. Everything is going to work out well. Before adding, this is a great time to buy! Exclamation points. And then signed it by his name. Excuse me. Then signed his name on it, DJT. That was literally, I want to find it because this should be on here. It should be. I should be getting close to it. Yep, right here. Donald Trump, Truth Social, 4/9/25, 9:33 a.m. So he literally said that about 2.5 hours right before his big announcement. Oh, right here, actually. Oh, yeah, right here. Both of these, basically. Be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The USA will be bigger and better than ever before. This is a great time to buy! Exclamation points. DJT, Donald Trump, Truth Social. Literally signed it himself. Basically saying this is not this is not fake news, right? And then whenever he actually dropped the news, he signed it, basically saying this is not fake news, right? And so literally, he told us to buy, and that's where he's like, I didn't buy. I didn't sell. I didn't sell whatever stocks I had, right? I didn't sell whatever stocks I had, but ultimately, I mean, if I would have bought, I would have been up about 10%, 12% on pretty much any stock or any ETFs I bought, right? But I'm not really worried about it because we're still not totally out the woods. We could still drop some more. We had that big pump, but we could still ultimately drop some more, okay? And so I'm gonna go over why we could do that. But first, I'm gonna go over some more good news, and then I'm gonna go over what we could be looking at tomorrow's news, and then I would just go real quick into showing you my second trade. My second trade is not nothing even too crazy. Just kind of cut my loss down a bit, and so not nothing really too crazy. Made about what I think it was like 30 something bucks, 35 bucks, 35, 36 bucks, and so yeah, honestly, that's why, I mean, that's not even nothing to really tell y'all about, but I want to be fully authentic with you guys. And so if I take a trade, if I lose, I'm going to tell y'all, no matter how big, how small. If I take a trade and I win, I'm going to tell you guys, no matter how big, how small. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I want to be fully authentic with y'all. So $30 ain't nothing to really run home mama about, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just still going to share it with y'all, right? And so we have that. And then also some other good news we actually have is, okay, yeah, right here. The White House, Trump signed an executive order. The White House says the policy is meant to reset the regulatory landscape around domestic energy production, and one order redefines showerheads for purposes of federal regulation. I'm not too sure what that means. The White House says the order is meant to simplify regulations and reduce federal meddling in American decisions. So basically that is good for business owners, and businesses basically is like more lenient on the regulations and stuff on businesses and stuff like that. So that could be very good for the market. But so we have that good news, and Trump with the pause on tariffs, but ultimately we still have bad news because 125% on China, which we use a lot. So that's some bad news still we have. And then tomorrow we have the ultimate needle mover, okay? Not the ultimate. I think the Fed talking is probably the ultimate. Like if he has rate cuts, if he sounds hawkish, or if he sounds dovish saying there's not going to be no rate cuts or whatever, that is pretty much the ultimate mover. But this is another good one we're going to have tomorrow, which is CPI, our core inflation, all of these inflation numbers, basically the core inflation, consumer price inflation, all these inflation. So if these things come out hotter than expected, that will be bad, okay? And I'm just telling you guys right now, please listen to me, because I don't want to come on here and just say I said these things. I want y'all to listen to me so y'all can back me up with these things, right? Whenever I'm like, okay, I said this, you know what I'm saying? And so so previous core inflation right here is 0.2%, consensus 0.3%, forecast 0.3%. So they're already forecasting 0.3%, okay? Excuse me. So they're already forecasting 0.3%. Excuse me, man. Every time I get on this stream, man, either something just bugging me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be good till I get on the stream, right? And so, as you see, 3%, whatever. All of these claims and these CPI, that's inflation numbers. Why is inflation very important? Because if we have hotter than expected inflation, the Fed cannot cut rates, okay? Cutting rates is good for the markets and the economy, because when you lower the interest rates, that is more money in our pockets, because we're paying less interest rates on certain things and whatever, and house interest rates and just all that good stuff, right? And so ultimately that's more money in our pockets, more money in the markets, okay, like I told you guys. And so if inflation is hotter than expected, the Fed cannot cut rates, right? Because that means we are spending. If we are spending and it's showing we just have money to, spend and spend and spend, he can't cut rates. He can't put more money in our pockets, because you have to have a balance. It's supply and demand, right? supply and demand. If our inflation is hot, that is showing we have money to spend, and so he can't just keep giving us more money, because what does that mean? That ultimately the supply goes down and the demand is higher than the supply. You get what I'm saying? Because if we have more money, that means we could buy more things, right? If he just keeps pumping money into our pockets, pumping money into our pockets, the demand for things are going to go up, but the supply for them are going to go down. You see what I'm saying? So you have to have even balance. You see what I'm saying? So that's why the inflation numbers and the Fed cutting rates. That's why those things stick together, and that's why those things are very important. Okay. And so if we get these numbers hotter than expected, like previous is 2.8, consensus 2.6, and then our forecast is 2.5 on inflation rate year on year. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. If we get a hotter than expected, like a 2.6, 2.7, even the 2.8, if we get that previous number, the market will dump. I'm telling you. If we get hotter numbers in these CPIs than expected, this market will dump, okay? So ultimately, that is what is really going to move tomorrow, okay? So we have some good news, right? We have good news with the pause on tariffs and with these business regulations, which is really good, right? But if we get these inflation numbers and they're bad, that means the Fed cannot cut rates. And previously, I think it was about February, we had projected about 3 to 4 rate cuts this year, and now they were lowering it to projected about 1 to 2. So if we get these hot inflation numbers, the projections might even go lower. We might only be projected to get 1 rate cut. I don't think no rate cuts is on the table. I think that's a little crazy. No rate cuts for the whole year. I think it sounds kind of crazy. But ultimately, yeah. So these inflation numbers are very important tomorrow. And luckily, they come out 7:30 a.m., this is Eastern time. And so 8:30, Fed Logan speech. It's not too. Yeah. So this happens before the market. So before the market, we will know if we have these good news to keep pumping us up, or if it's bad news to drop us lower. Because I'm telling you, if we have bad CPI and bad inflation numbers, we would do this. We would erase this whole trend right here, and we'll end up dumping. We'll end up dumping back. I believe we'll end up dumping if we get them high inflation numbers. But if we don't, what can I see going into tomorrow? Excuse me. If we don't have hot inflation numbers and we actually have pretty good inflation numbers, I could see us giving a pullback, right? Because look at this. I mean, look at this big old huge candle, right? And since we're so far down, I'm not gonna say it's not, because I've been saying I don't see price jumping up $20. Like, I've pretty much said that a couple of times in my live streams, and then the next day it's literally pre-market, it literally gaps up like $15, and then it'll shoot up another $10. And so I'm not even gonna say something like that, because the market is just going crazy right now. It's flying up, it's flying down, it's flying sideways, literally just flying everywhere, right? But we are gonna capitalize off these moves, okay? Tomorrow I am coming in with a winner, okay? I'm locked in tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm coming in with a winner, okay, guys? Trust and believe that, okay? And so what can I see going into tomorrow? I can see a little dip to about this 533. Why? Because we see this is where our order block's at, an area order block, or maybe we could be, oh man, let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. So what can I see? I can see price want to dip, because its price is going to give us a pullback, right? It's not going to just start flying up. We know price doesn't do that, right? We know price doesn't do that. So I can see us give a dip to this order block before giving us some good news, right? And pumping up further. And I am going to zoom out, and I'm going to find my resistance lines. I'm going to delete all these lines lower, okay? I'm going to delete these lower lines, and I'm going to mark out new resistance lines for you guys. Just let me get through this little area, okay? And so I can see it doing that. Pulling back to my order block, right? Pulling back to the order block. Oh my God, man. Sorry about that. I can see it pulling back to my order block before pumping, or maybe trying to pull back and kind of sweep this low right here for pumping up into here. You know, giving some type of pullback and giving us another pump. And we'll see where our resistance lines are, because I don't know if we'll pump to 566. I mean, that's kind of crazy, but I'm not going to say we can't, right? But I don't see us flying up out of the woods like that, because we're still in uncertainty, okay? We're still in uncertainty, right? And so I don't see us quite going up that fast, right? And remember, we had this huge $50 move. We did have that, right? And you're saying, Devin, I mean, that's fast, right? From what, $4.98 up to $5.40, but that's exactly why we already went up $50. I don't see us, because we had the good news that pumped us up, right? We're not totally out of the woods yet, though, right? Because we still have this bad news, right? So I don't quite see us trying to reach up to our all-time highs again. Because remember, our all-time high is what, 612 on the SPY. If we get up to 560 already, we're I wouldn't say we're close, because I mean we're still about $60 down. But you know, I mean, for us not to be totally out of the woods yet, I just don't see that big move yet. That big move happening yet, okay? But it could happen. Never say never, right? So I could see price hitting that order block or sweeping these lows before breaking up high. But if we have some bad news, okay, I could see us coming back down, maybe testing this order block before probably trying to break up, right? I could see bulls stepping in right here at this order block for pushing it up and then hitting this high, making it a resistance before ultimately breaking back down. I definitely see that if we have some bad news, if we have our bad inflation news, okay, before hitting this. So I could see if we have bad news. Okay, so let me be clear about this. If we have bad news, I could see us pulling back, touching this order block before getting a little reaction, hitting back up, hitting an area of resistance, and knocking back down, right? Or whenever we hit this order block, maybe, Jesus Christ. Or if I see us pulling back, I can see us hitting this order block, testing this area of resistance, right? Because that's about a $8 move. That's still pretty big, but that could possibly happen, right? Before ultimately, you know, climbing back down, right? Excuse me. But that is if we're bearish, okay? So if we're bullish, let's mark out some resistance lines. Man, I'm not even tired, you know what I'm saying? The yawns want to kick in when you get on live, right? So oh man. So I'm gonna mark out this move real quick. That is 11% gain. That would have been 11% on any of your money you would have put in, right? If you would have put $100 in, you would have made about, $100 not much, right? So you would have made about $11, right? But if you would have put $1,000 in, right, you would have made about $100. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about percentages in investing, and in general, in general, it's all about the percentage, right? On contracts, on options, it's all about your percentage win, your percentage gain. Because literally, I was looking at this earlier. So I was seeing traders post their clients' wins, right? And stay with me, my good people, because this is valuable, okay? It's all about the percentages, okay? So you will see, keep in mind, because I got fooled by this too, but it's also a smart thing they do, okay? So please stay with me, because this is very important. It's a very smart thing that they do, but at the same time, it's like, I could do that too, you know what I'm saying, if I had that money, you know what I'm saying? And so basically what I'm seeing is I've seen these traders, which I'm not saying they're bad traders, right? They're good traders, of course, right? I mean, they're making money, you know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing, right? But I've seen them posting their client wins, and it'll be like plus 5,000, plus 8,000, plus 2,000 on an option, right? And you're like, man, that's some money right there, right? That's money, obviously. But then it says plus 2%, plus 5%, plus 3%. And so it's like, you made $2,000, but you put up how much for that? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not the best at math, so I'm not good at calculating. and breaking down the percentage and whatever numbers and whatever. But so basically, you have to put up about what, probably 30,000, probably 50,000, and I'm not sure, that might be over exaggerating, but you have to put up a lot of money to get a 2% gain and get $5,000. You see what I'm saying? And so that I show you my options, right? On my winners, I've made about 30%. Like today, I had a 40% on my option, but I only made $40. You see what I'm saying? But 40% on their option, they're making like 15,000. So you see what I'm saying? It's all about capital size, right? And so literally that it's all about capital size. So that's why you want to keep building your account, building your account, building your account. And that's also where I come to you guys and I tell y'all guys, it's all about the base hits and all about, you want to get in and get out. You want to get in for a good move and get out, right? Don't let your profits, don't let green turn to red. And that's where I'm saying that is smart that they do that. You know, it's kind of like you're over leveraging, you're over risking because you put $50,000 up to make 2,000 or whatever the actual amount is. Because, like I said, I'm not good at math, so I don't know how to break the number down and to percentage and whatever. But ultimately, they're putting up a large sum of money, and they're making a little bit of money. $2,000 is a lot of money, but they're making only 2% on how much they're actually putting up. You get what I'm saying? And so that's where it's like you're kind of over risking, but at the same time, when you think about it, it's pretty smart, right? Because they're not staying in for a whole break of structure move. They're not. So they get on that high, that low. They don't need it to break this whole high, right? All they need to do is get in at this low and just give me a good reaction, like about here, right? And once I see it engulfing, I'm out. But ultimately, that was 5% or 10% of their contract sizes. You know what I'm saying? Of their total contracts, right? About 10% of their contracts. So they made $3,000. They made $8,000. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where, don't always get caught up on, oh, he made thousands of $1,000. Oh, he made this amount, this amount. Take it at your own pace, right? Because ultimately they started at the same place you started at. You see what I'm saying? Unless, you know what I'm saying, some people are blessed, you know what I'm saying, they're born into families with money, right? And they can start trading with sizes that big, right? But ultimately they lose their money because trading isn't just about having money and getting in, right? You have to ultimately know what you're doing. You have to ultimately have disciplines and strategies for these things to consistently work, right? Yes, you can hop in and make quick money, right? You can hop in and make quick money. I mean, the market's going to go up and down, and it will move sideways. But in this volatile market, it's basically just flying up or flying down, right? And so if you pick the right side, you can have a winner. But is it sustainable? Are you going to be able to do that daily or every other day or be able to actually pay your bills on this? You see what I'm saying? So it's more than just hopping in and getting money for that day, right? You ultimately want to stick to your strategy so you can make money daily. You want to be able to trust your habits and your strategies and your disciplines so you can make money daily, not just be a one-hit wonder or, you know what I'm saying, just getting lucky, not really knowing what you're doing. And I'm not saying none of you are doing that, but I'm just saying that in general, right? And so I just wanted to go over that real quick because that's what I was really looking at earlier. I'm like, man, 2,000, 5,000. I'm like, man, this dude's showing so much winners, but then I'm looking at the percentage. I'm like, 3% gain, 5% gain. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where it's like, okay, I mean, I made 5% on my $500 contract, but I made, you know what I'm saying, I only made about $50. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where it's like, people like us or like smaller capital, we have to know these things. Like, we have to really study and get in for these good moves. And I'm not saying the rich people don't do that, because the really, really good traders, they get in at these sniper entries and they're able to ride them things long, and that's how they end up making huge money, right? But that's why we practice, and we're going to keep building our accounts. And ultimately, just stick to your disciplines, because them things are going to last you long term, and those things are going to keep you in the game, right? And those things are going to keep you from blowing up your account and losing money, and ultimately you're going to be making more money than you lose, okay? And so, honestly, forgot where I was at. Kind of had a whole yap sesh. But that was very important, okay? Because I'm showing you guys not to just to get caught up in the money, but actually look at, okay, what was the percentage gain of your win? You know what I'm saying? Okay, how much, like, okay, what was the percentage of your contracts, right? Okay, you told me you made $5,000 today on option. What was your percentage? You know what I'm saying? And that's when you see the percentage. That's really impressive. Okay, when you see someone made 50% on their contract, or yeah, like 30, like base hits, like 30% is a good hit. You know what I'm saying? A good base hit. You don't need to always stay in for 100% of your contract. That's not always sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Trying to stay in for the 100%. But like a 50% on your contract size, or 30% is good. You know what I'm saying? 20%, you start to take some profits and let some contracts ride, and then once you see when you're getting uncomfortable, you take them out. You know what I'm saying? That's good. But when you're getting like 5% on your contract, that's 2%. You know, I'm not knocking it because obviously they're making money, but for smaller capital people like us, if we're buying a $200-300 contract and we get 2% on that contract, I mean that's probably what, $15, or I mean I can't calculate that. You know what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? So let's mark out some areas of some. So actually, let me remove all these drawings. Yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me. So let's mark out some support levels, not support levels, resistance levels. I could not think of the name, man. So I have a resistance right here. Why? Because this is the area that sellers stepped in and pushed price all the way down, right? So that's an area if we do turn bullish and we knock at that fair value gap, we could be knocking at this, and this will be an area of resistance. And then ultimately, if we break that, I could see us honestly breaking all the way up to where right here, because this is where we had another area of some sellers. It's 555, and then ultimately you see you'll just keep going up right where we see the top of these wicks at 555. And actually, I gotta remark these because there's some ugly numbers. 560, 85. I can see I gotta remark this. That's an ugly number right there. That's a bad looking number. 554, 45. That's a good number. But don't remember, I'm not just looking for the pretty number. It's still on the resistance area. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta have it at a pretty number. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be 547.60 right there. That's a good looking number. Okay. Actually, I gotta move that down a little bit. Actually, right? Because we want to be pretty much right on target with a pretty number though, right? So bam, right here, because right, this is where we have an area of sellers, and this is honestly where we had this wick right here. So those are some good areas of resistance. If I see price get knocked down, and I already know we have some good news, if it hits our order block, oh boy, I'm in. If we get good news, if we get good inflation numbers, right? If we get good inflation numbers, I see price drop down, touch this order block, give me some type of wick, give me an engulfing candle. I see my volume there. Oh, I'm pulling that trade, boy. We are in, okay? And that's ultimately my goal, man. I want to be able to teach you guys and be able to get better for you guys, because ultimately you want to hear from somebody who's winning trades, right? And so I don't like coming on here telling you guys I'm losing, but ultimately that's the authenticity and the realism I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to show you the winners. I'm going to show you the losses, right? Because you don't start off profitable. And I know I've said this many times, but it's the harsh reality. You pay tuition fees, right, to learn. And obviously you could trade on demo accounts. You don't actually have to lose your money. You can trade on demo accounts and stuff like that to practice your strategy and get used to the markets. But ultimately, when you stop trading on that demo account and you hop on the real markets, you are still going to lose money, because the emotions are, I'm telling you, when you hop in the market, even if you feel like you have a good entry and you feel like you know what you're doing, that heart starts pumping, that adrenaline starts moving, that heart starts pumping, the emotions start running. You know what I'm saying? When you start seeing price go against you, your blood instantly just start boiling like quick. Your blood just start boiling. You start getting hot. You know what I'm saying? And then whenever you get stopped out, you ready to punch everything in the room. You know what I'm saying? It's the emotions. It's the truth. But you got to learn how to control the emotions. You know what I'm saying? You will always have that adrenaline and like your heart will be pumping. I'm pretty sure even the best traders still have those. You know what I'm saying? Have that adrenaline. The heart starts pumping a little bit. Ultimately, they know how to control it better than most. But they still have those little emotions, right? But ultimately, they know how to control them, right? And so coming into tomorrow, I can see us hitting this areas of resistance. Well, we're already at this area of resistance. If we have good news, I could see us still giving a pullback to this order block, or actually sweeping this order block and actually filling this gap, right? So sweeping this order block area, which you'll still be in an uptrend, right? We're still in an uptrend, even though you know what I'm saying, we would have swept this area. You're still in the uptrend. Obviously, we're still in the uptrend, right? And I could see us sweeping this area, sweeping this little retracement pullback. I kind of call this a little retracement, and touching this area of excuse me, and testing this straight candle. Sorry. So I can see it sweeping this and testing this. Jesus Christ! I can see it sweeping this low. My goodness, sweeping this low and touching this candle before giving us a pump and break through these areas of resistance. Or I could see price hitting this order block, and then, man, I don't know how to work this tool, I guess. Or I could see us coming down, touching this order block before testing this resistance. Breaking through this resistance, right? If we have good news, right? If we have bad news, right, that could be pretty bad. We could probably, if we start off at this resistance, and honestly, if we have bad news, we will see pre-markets kind of fall. And so we would probably honestly see pre-markets fall around, I'm just going to kind of guess where we could see, if we have bad news, pre-markets are going to be down. It's not going to be at 543. We already know the market reacts ahead of time, and in pre-markets, they already sell, right? So we could probably be starting around this 539, hit this order block, because remember, this is where buyers are at, so we will get some type of reaction before pumping up, and we'll probably hit some type of resistance back right here, or testing this resistance before breaking down some more. And I can see us, if we have some bad inflation news, it will probably try to erase this whole trend. It probably won't get this whole trend tomorrow if we have bad news, but it will try to erase it, okay? So that's what I can see if we're bearish. If we're bullish, remember, I can see us testing, sweeping this low, testing this before breaking up, or I can see us hitting this order block, breaking up, or honestly, Jesus Christ, or another one, I can see us breaking down, testing this area of resistance, making it support, then breaking up, right? So those are honestly some 3 good ones. If we're bullish, if we're bearish, I could see those other 2 good setups happening, okay? And so we pretty much went over it all. I know I still got to go over my second trade of the day. It's just nothing special. I didn't even fully capitalize off of it. It wasn't nothing special, but I'm still gonna go over with you guys, right? I'm still very excited to go over with you guys. I'm just kind of rolling my eyes because it's only $35, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, what did I do? I cut down my loss. So don't roll your eyes, Devin. You cut down your loss, you know what I'm saying? You had a little winner, so be happy about it, right? And so we went over what Trump said, why the market moved like that. We went over the other good news that he said. We went over that also some other stuff that he said before the market, and how he added the 125% tariffs on China effective immediately. Excuse me. We went over this inflation data. Remember, this is going to be very important before the market opens. This is actually going to move the market. These inflation numbers and all of this, right? This is actually what is going to move the market, these inflation numbers. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Luckily, it opens before the market opens. I mean, it's going to be shown before the market opens, okay? And so let's go over my trade real quick, and then I'll pretty much be done with you guys. And please, if you want to see my other trade recap, I had some good info in that trade recap for today, guys. So please, if you did not watch it, please go watch it. And please, if you are still kind of confused on the markets, please watch my video on market structure, because I feel like it was. I try to break it down for you guys, right? And I know I'm still beginning this, because so I know I can break things down better, guys. I know I can break them down better for you guys. So if you have any questions, please drop them down below. If anything you feel like I get better at, please drop it down below, because everything means the world to me. Every comment, every criticism, everything, you know what I'm saying? Every comment you have on any of my videos, it means everything to me, okay? And so now let's go over my trade for the day. So basically, when the market pumped up, and let me go down my 1 minute to show exactly where I got in at. When the market pumped up, I looked at the news, and it said 3 minutes ago that Trump had paused them tariffs. Where did I get in at? That I literally got the news 3 minutes too late. Seen the news 3 minutes too late. We had this pump. I got in at this pullback right here. I got in at this candle right here, and I had because I only had about $140, because remember, I lowered what I had in my broker account, because trading with smaller size, because we already know following disciplines, just gotta discipline myself. But these big wins are gonna come, okay? Trust me, guys. Just stay with me on the journey. The big wins are gonna come, okay? But just as fast as the big wins come, the big losses come. So that's why you ultimately want to discipline yourself and not rush it, because I've rushed it before and I've had big wins. I've had $1,500 wins, okay? I've had big wins, but I've had big losses as well rushing it, okay? So that's why I want to take it slow, stay disciplined, and just show you guys the discipline. Just be disciplined and show you guys the slow process, right? The big wins are going to come, okay? Trust me. You guys are going to see me start making $1,000. You guys are going to see it all. Y'all are seeing the whole journey, okay? So just stay with me, all right? And so I got in at this pullback, got in at the engulfing. But what did I see? I got in whenever the volume was lowering down, right? And so I got in right here. I had about a 540 strike price, way out of the money. So the one I could afford, because I only had about $140 in my account, and so I could afford that one. So I bought that one all the way up there, and I honestly didn't even catch this full move. If I would have caught this full move, I would have been up about $200. I swear. Because look at this, from 527, literally to 536, I would have been up more than $200. I literally would have probably like 5 times that option. So I'm choking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not choking. I'm not gonna say it's choking, but yesterday I didn't fully capitalize on the move like I should have. And today I got out way too early on this move, and I could have about 5 times that option. I'm not even gonna lie to you, right? No, actually not 5 times, because it was way out of the money. But I could have made about $300 off of that, $300, because it wouldn't have been in the money yet. So the option price still would have been far out, so it still wouldn't have had as much value. You get what I'm saying? But it still would have went up $8 of price action for me, and so ultimately that still would have put that contract value up from 140. If you went up $8 in price action, you're still going up about $200-300, even though you're way out the money. And honestly, it's probably more, right? So I'm just projecting, but I know it's not none less than that, okay? And so what did I do? I got in right here, but honestly, I knew I was kind of like trend chasing. But is it a bad trend chase? Because you know you had the very good news, right? And so you had this $40 pump up, had the pullback, had the engulfing, right? And so was it a bad trend chase? I mean, at this time, with all these heavy sell-offs, and then like you had that news that obviously shooting the market up, that's not really a trend chase. And honestly, if I would have just hopped in as these things were going up, that's more of a FOMO. But what did I do? I did wait for the pullback, and whenever I got the engulfing, I did get in. So that's strategy still, you know what I'm saying? That's strategy to the T for me. And I should have stayed in. When it broke up, it gave the pullback. I was honestly scared right here whenever I got this pullback, because I was up about $75, and then I seen my option price drop down to about 30 something bucks. And once I seen this pullback happening, I didn't want price to actually just reverse and kind of range down here. I didn't expect it, but honestly, that's why you don't expect nothing in the market. You just follow your rules and follow your discipline, and then you'll see what happens. You never expect anything, and that's where I'm getting too far in my head, saying I don't expect price to do this. I don't expect price to do this, so I'm gonna get out right here because I don't expect price to do this. You follow your strategy, and you see what price is gonna do, right? That's what you do, because you don't know what the market's gonna do, right? Just like earlier, I did follow my strategy in my first trade recap. Please, again, if you didn't watch it, please go watch it. In my trade recap, I followed my strategy to the T, and I got stopped out, right? If I would have followed my strategy to the T right here, I would have been up about $300, right? So that's where you just follow your strategy and let price do what it's gonna do, right? And you'll win some, you'll lose some, but ultimately you are gonna win more than you lose whenever you follow a strategy and follow your disciplines. And so I got out at this red candle up about, I think, $36. My first trade of the day, I lost $125, so I'm down $90, right? But I made $60, so I'm down $90 on the day. I made $65 yesterday, so I'm down $25 on the week, right? It still hurts. Why does it still hurt? $25 is nothing, honestly. I would still feel like I'm winning the week, right? And honestly, I'm still winning the week, down $25, right? I'm still winning the week, even though I know I didn't capitalize off these moves like I should have, and even though I know that that's what's honestly weighing on my psyche, but I gotta erase that, and I gotta come to the markets with a clean slate and just capitalize, right? It's all me versus me, just like it's you versus you. It's not you versus the market. It's not me versus the market. It's me versus me, and it's you versus you, okay? And so I'm still winning the week, right? Only down $25. I mean, that is a dream for a trader to only be down $25 midway through the week of trading every day, right? But last week, I'm already knowing that I had that big loss, right? I'm not even going to talk about that big loss, but we know about that big loss, right? And so that is what is still haunting me, and that's why I still am behind the 8 ball. I know I'm still behind the 8 ball, but don't worry, guys. We're going to make it up, okay? And so that's why we had this huge run up. I got in right here. I got this red candle, and I got out up profit, of course. I'm not going to say of course, but up profit. Up about, $36. But if I would have rolled it up even higher, I would have been up some more. I would have been up about 100, 200 and something, probably 300 or something, right? But the hindsight is always 2020, right? And so you're gonna say, Devin, why didn't you get in right here and write it all the way up? Hindsight is 2020, right? And you can say that for everybody, okay? And so tomorrow we are gonna come in, we are gonna capitalize, okay? Trust and believe, tomorrow we are gonna capitalize. And remember, guys, trading is risky. Manage your risk. Please study, because just as fast as you can make money, you can lose money. I love everybody who's with me on this journey. Pretty much went over everything. Yeah, pretty much went over everything for you guys. Remember, guys, I will be back tomorrow with a daily recap. And honestly, I liked what I did today. I want to do that every day, honestly. Just drop a video on my daily recap in the morning, and then later on at night, go on a live and just say what news, because usually at night, that's when all the news is already out. Obviously, the market's already played out, and so you can just kind of go over everything. And in the morning, I just have my fresh thoughts on my trade recap. So please let me know. Please, guys, let me know if y'all liked that routine, the trade recap in the morning, and then ultimately just the overview on the markets. Please, guys, let me know, because ultimately I do these things for you guys, because honestly, I'm gonna be trading regardless. You know what I'm saying? I've been about a year and some change into trading, and so I'm gonna show up to the market daily, right? Ultimately, just I like to be on here and just sharing my knowledge and sharing what I learned, and then ultimately just documenting the whole process, right? Because I'm getting better daily, and ultimately I want to get you guys, I want to be on the journey with you guys and be able to teach you guys, and hopefully you're learning by yourself from other YouTubers as well. But ultimately I want you guys to learn from me, of course, but take what I'm saying and also look at other traders and look at other videos and see if it matches up, and you know what I'm saying, and try to gain all the knowledge you can, you know what I'm saying? So I want to get you guys paid, I want to get myself paid, of course, but ultimately we're all going to eat, okay, guys? And so remember, that's pretty much it. And so remember, guys, stay persistent, passionate, and make sure you guys get paid.